Hi, I'm Michelle Jones, the band leader and founder of Violectric. They say that music is the universal language, but did you also know they're referring to how you read and write it? This all started in the 8th century with the monks who served under Pope Gregory. They wanted a way to write out their chants, and that's why the first written music became known as the Gregorian chants. From that, they started in Latin. Well, I don't speak Latin, so we're going to write a small chant today about a place that my cat is not supposed to be. The chant is about my cat on a piano. The cat is on the piano. Well, you could probably sing that back to me, but just to make sure where the notes go up and down, they decided to create a way to write it down. It started with just writing the words. The cat is on the piano. And then they did follow the bouncing dots. And the dots went over each note. The cat is on, because that went up. The piano went up, and then it went back down on no. When you add a harmony voice to it, it could be above that. The cat is on the piano. And then you could do a harmony voice below. The cat is on the piano. And possibly even one below that that's out of my vocal range. The cat is on the piano. Well, these little dots get very confusing. So they decided to draw lines. And now we have lines and spaces, with the dots falling between the lines and spaces. When they mapped out the human voice, it ended up being 11 lines from top to bottom, with the middle being covered by everybody. Well, they decided to use a musical alphabet to name these notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the first 7 letters of our musical alphabet. But they started on G, because that was where the pitch fell. And then they go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way up the staff, which is this series of 11 lines. Well, that gets very confusing to read 11 lines. So they said, we've got to make it simpler. Let's take this middle line. That note is C. It's in the middle of our staff. Well, it's called middle C because it's the middle of the staff, not because it's the middle of the piano. What they did was they said, what if we erase that line, except for when we need it for a note? Keep the 5 lines on top, the 5 lines below. Go 2 lines above middle C and 2 lines below middle C. What's the name of that note? Well, in the upper lines, it's G. This is the symbol for G. Treble clef swirls around the G line. Go 2 lines below, and they use a symbol for F, which became known as the bass clef. Well, the line got blended, so they decided to put a dot and then 2 dots on either side of the line to indicate the bass clef. Join it all with a brace, and now you have the grand staff with middle C in the middle. This made it so much easier to read the music and to know the notes. And that's why treble staff is different than the bass staff, because you have to think of them as one giant grand staff. Well, there are some exceptions. In the middle, there are some voices that aren't treble and aren't bass. So what they did was they decided to put the line back in, only use those 5 lines to connect, with middle C being in the middle, and they used a new clef called a C clef or an alto clef. Very few instruments use this, but one of the most common is the viola, which is the middle instrument in the string family. It is also one of the instruments in Violectric. So now you're able to read the alto clef, the treble clef, and the bass clef and understand the relationship that they are with each other. And now you also are able to read all musical notation and how it is written worldwide from now on.